Okay, here's my recipe for stuffed green peppers and maybe a red pepper and some yellow and orange peppers. But they're called stuffed green peppers. Anyway, what we're gonna have is we're gonna have 1.5 cups of rice because I have right there 1.5 pounds of meat, 1.56. So I do a 1-to-1 ratio. 1.5 pounds of meat, 1.5 cups of rice. I'm gonna dice up these onions. That's gonna go in. Some oil. I don't put this inside of the meat mix. I do, however, put 1 egg, tomato paste, some baked beans, and an assortment of spices. We have the red pepper, we have the all-purpose seasoning, and the Slap Ya Mama. That's Louisiana stuff. What else can I talk about here? Tomato sauce and the pasta sauce are what I'm gonna cook it in. The potatoes, I put a couple of potatoes around the empty spaces. And I'm gonna get started mixing this up. Alright, so what we're going to put in this mixing bowl is the baked beans, the 1.5 pounds of roast beef, the Hunt's tomato paste, a little bit of oil. I have an egg over here somewhere. I lost it, I think. And the seasoning. That's what's going to go inside this mix. I'm going to start first with the 1.5 pounds of meat. Just throw it in. Not too fancy. Then you're gonna want to put some oil in it. You might have to add more oil to it later if it's not moist enough. Found my eggs. It's gonna be a little slimy at first. You want to have clean hands before you do it, and then you wash your hands after you mix it all up. Before I add any of the dry spices, I'm going to get most of the wet material into the bowl. And this is the Hunt's tomato paste. I like the one with basil and garlic and oregano. So I don't like to buy the bland stuff. I'd rather get the stuff with a little bit of kick to it. I never use all of it. A lot of it, but never all of it. I'll add the beans after I mix it up. I start off with a spoon so I don't get it as like grimy, but you gotta dig in there with your hands eventually. I'm just trying to chop up the majority of the meat. Mix the egg around a little. Alright. I could probably get it a little bit better with this spoon, but I'm just gonna dig in with my hands. And you're turning in, the rice is uncooked. The sauce isn't preheated. The meat is right off the shelf. Ground beef. I like to get it with a little higher fat content, 80% fat. And, 80% lean and 20% fat. Because the meat, the more fat you have in the ground meat, the more it'll shrink. And the reason I want the meat to shrink is because the rice is going in raw. And as the meat shrinks, the rice should expand. And I think I got a pretty good mixture going here. I think it's all mixed up really well. I'm going to wash my hands off for a second. A couple of runaways from the spoon. So here I go. I'm going to start adding the spice, the crushed red pepper. Just a little bit. Most people, if they want it spicier, they'll add some hot sauce. This stuff is really nice. It's got a lot of stuff in it. The Blackstone all-purpose seasoning. It's just some basic Walmart seasoning. Nothing really fancy. And the most important thing is the Slap Ya Mama. It's Cajun. It's right out of Louisiana. I get mine usually from New Orleans. Put a lot of that in. I'm going to mix that up, and then I'm going to add the beans. Now it seems like I'm putting a lot of spice in, but really not, really not. In this thickness, it's actually a pound and a half of roast beef and a cup and a half of rice, which will probably expand to 2 cups of rice. So not a lot, not an excessive amount of spices that we're going into that. Now, because this is going into the actual the sauce here, I don't want all the oil from the baked beans. So I'm gonna try to drain it, just drain it enough from the can. And that was the home style baked beans, as tangy sauce and with bacon and brown sugar. Now the pot that I put this in, when I make it for the entire family, the extended family, is a lot bigger than the pot I'm going to use now. Tonight I'm just doing 4 medium-sized green peppers and 4 tiny peppers. 4 tiny peppers. I actually use more than 2 pounds of ground beef when I make it for the entire family. Tonight it's just for my wife and I. My daughter doesn't eat it. She needs to expand her palate. That's what Mima would say. She needs to expand her palate. Again, I like to do most of my work already in the sink. Now, one of the things that my wife likes is the sauce when I'm done. So I put the tops of the peppers in the bottom. Another nice thing about this, when you simmer it for so long, sometimes you tend to burn the bottom. This way you don't burn the bottom of your green pepper. You burn the bottom of the stuff you're putting in there. I also get some oven reds right off the shelf. I don't bake them or anything. I'm going to put that in as well. Just a couple. I'm just trying to cover the bottom. So I put a couple of these on the bottom as well. Again, I'm just trying to keep the bottom of my stuffed pepper off the bottom of the pot. And, it doesn't take up a lot of room. It just keeps it off the... And these potatoes are so yummy after they've been, simmering in the tomato soup sauce. And my first big green pepper. Just going to reach in and grab some of the mash. Some of the stuffing. Stuff it in all the way. I just make it level. Some people like to overload it on the top. Some people like to overload it on the top. Well, some people also put in breadcrumbs. I actually put in breadcrumbs and croutons sometimes. But I'm not trying to fill these up with all that filler. Oh, I think I have 5 medium green peppers to stuff. This one's not that big. It's a tiny medium stuffed pepper. You can see the beans sticking out. And the big pot I'm more predictive on. This little one, this is actually the first time I've ever made this few amount of stuffed peppers. I don't know, Armand, if I'll have enough left over for you. I might make some Saturday night or Sunday and have a big happy Monday meal with everyone. This is on a long weekend. We got, I think, Memorial Day coming up. And then after that, it's one of the Jewish holidays. Now, everybody in my family's Jewish but me. So I don't know the name of that holiday that we're getting off. I don't know if it's Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. I think the Yom Kippur is the more sad Jewish holiday. Rosh Hashanah, I think they have to fast. I don't know if any of them practice that. I wouldn't mind seeing my daughter take up some of the customs, if not of the Judaism faith. I'm a Catholic, and they're a lot of fun. Now I'm going to start on the tiny peppers, the real tiny peppers. And if I run out of peppers, I'm not going to cut more. I'm going to make meatballs out of leftover meat. Make little meatballs. I'm really trying to stuff this one. And there it goes. It's going in. Oh, that one kind of tipped that over. Want them all standing up. Want them all standing up. There it is. I got it to stand up. Now, in these little spaces here, I might start putting some potatoes. I only have 3 more of these to put in there. So I want to get the potatoes and start putting them in. See, I have these little hiding spots. I can put a potato in there. As far as the price is concerned, it's not really cheap. Green peppers are not cheap. Everything else is pretty inexpensive. The rice is inexpensive. But the actual green peppers, I might have spent $10 on the green peppers that are in front of me right now. Good $10 just on the green peppers. The meat, I think the price is on there. It was about $8 for that pack of meat. And the rice, I buy rice by like a 20-pound bag. Notice I'm stuffing all those little hiding spots. All them little hiding spots with the oven reds. The Alexia oven reds. I hope Alexa doesn't think I'm cheating on her there with Alexia. And they go in there nicely. This one I might have to lay down, or I'll push them down inside of that one. Yeah, it'll be standing up. And the lid will cover it nicely. Lid will cover it nicely. And that's 5 big peppers and 4 little tiny baby peppers. I want to see what my wife has to say about the beans. I haven't put the beans in before. I have put in spicy sausage inside of each one. And that was interesting. So that's my stack. Now I'm going to put the potatoes in there, fill those voids with the potatoes, and that'll help those peppers stand up. Might get a little tired and try to take a nap on me while they're inside. They're cooking. Now I'm going to cook this. It's 7:54. I'm going to let this simmer for at least 2 hours. Yeah, you heard me, 2 hours. I'm not having dinner until 10 o'clock tonight. I better behave. Maybe I'll do some schoolwork. Take my mind off of this dinner, because when I start cooking this, the whole house is going to smell like stuffed green peppers. Oh my God. I don't know what I'll do. Let me wash my hands off again. I have a lot of meat left over. I could have made a big meal out of this, but I think it's best if I make the big meal that day. I start it. I'll have it in the refrigerator without the sauce the night before, and then I'll wake up in the morning and I'll put in the tomato sauce and the spicy red pepper. I like my simmering sauce to be a little thicker than this. Some people add one of these and they fill this up with water and dump that in. They like it really runny. I don't mind it runny. That being said, though, I don't mind it thick either. So this whole can of tomato sauce is going to go in. It's the big can. Now the tomato paste is the little tiniest tomato paste you can get. And even then you don't use the whole thing. And then here it goes, this whole can of Publix tomato. Did I not open it right? Well, let me try it again. I think that lid is ready to go off. There it is. Like a bottle of champagne. Now notice that's not enough. I am going to put a little water in here. But I'm going to hold off on that water because I'm going to put the Classico in also as well. And this one is really thick. My wife really likes this sauce. See how thick it is? Gotta let it go seep down in there. Inside all those little cracks and crannies. And then I'm going to put it on high heat for 5 minutes. And once I get it going up to a high heat, I'm going to turn that heat down to a low simmer. Oh yeah, that's going to be yummy. I don't know why Clementine isn't interested in this. She likes spaghetti and tomato sauce and spaghetti and meatballs. Heck, I make the meatballs out of the same stuff I make the stuffed green peppers. Still got a little bit of this left over. Again, this is a small container, so I didn't use so much. Now I'm going to try to get this to level off by adding a little bit of water. See how it fills it all up? You slow simmer it. I think that's good. I want to take this on over to the oven. I have a bunch left over here. So I'm going to make some meatballs or something out of that. But then if you look over here, there's my big pot. So I'm going to put it in the rear one, because it's going to be there for 2 hours. And let's see. Left rear, I'm going to start off on high. I'm going to start off on high. I'm going to leave it like that for about 5 minutes. Heck, maybe only 4 minutes. I want to heat that up, get it all really hot. And then I'm going to put it on a low simmer. I'm going to put it all the way down to low. So there's the finished product. I'm going to start scooping it out. I want to put one little one and one medium one in there. All right, maybe bring it into school for my buddy. So what do you think of it, hon?
Well, it's very spicy and it's very hot temperature-wise, so I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. But
Should I come back in a little bit?
I'm sure it's going to be delicious.
Okay. So there's my plate with my big green pepper and Old Bay hot sauce.